what's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Things Kentucky, Week 2, baby. As you can see, my man Coach Boley's still out for a little while, but he's getting better. Look for him to be back real soon. All right, man, real quick, Week 1, Big Things County, we kind of took it on the chin, man. Lexington itself, I think we only had 2 city teams to win games last week, and that was my LCA Eagles. Yes, sir, I got y'all back. Let's go Eagles, fly, baby. And my Taste Creek Commodores. Everybody else, yeah, it wasn't too hot, man. Now, I got a chance to go out of town and check out the Douglas versus Hoban game. Man, I'll tell you what. You know, Douglas, they got humble. They took a loss, but man, hey, that Hoban team, they've been to 7 of the last 9 state championships in Division II Ohio, which is basically the second largest class, kind of like 5A here. So, yeah, they were a beast. But I'll tell you what, man, if I was Coach McPete on the sidelines, I took from that game a lot of good things, man. I liked the way my boys competed. There was some spaces here and there. You know, it wasn't as bad as the score led on to be. Douglas just kind of got started slow, and once that ball gets to rolling, sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. But look for Douglas to really take a lot from that game and learn and go on to have a great season. Let's go Broncos. Now my other team, the Bryan Station Defenders, man. I picked y'all to go up to Trinity and put the state on notice. I honestly think my synopsis on that game, I think it was kind of like, you know, they had their real success last year, the first time they really had a lot of success there in a while. And this was the first time dealing with that success. And sometimes that's a learning experience in itself. I think it was a good one for the defenders. Look for them to bounce back and have a great season this season and do big things. Keep doing what you're doing, Coach Hawkins. All right, real quick, let's take a look at last week's picks. Yes, sir, you see your boy got a 1-game lead on my man, Coach Boley. Coach Boley, you got to do better. You got to do better. Also, we got the Mark and Weel Big Things Kentucky Cup. That's Lexington versus Louisville. Shout out to Taste Creek for getting the win for Lexington. And Trinity got a win for Louisville. So we are tied at 1-1. Here's the standings here. Wrap that up. Now, on to Week 2. All right, for Week 2, we're going to bring on a special celebrity guest picker. Here he is now. All right, and for Week 2, we got our celebrity guest picker, Mr. Scott Cutter's Dad Boley.
That's my name, Cutter's Dad.
Cutter's Dad. So, man, just real quick before we get started, last week, I mean, it can't get any better than last week. You guys were the jewel in the crown for Big Things County, knocking off #1 5A and probably one of the state favorites, Bowling Green. Now, the confession, I picked Bowling Green. How was that game?
That's crazy. I've got 3 kids, and out of all the sports my kids have played, I think that might be one of the craziest games I've ever been involved with. We had to go the length of the field twice in the last 4 minutes, you know, for drives, just back and forth. I think 9 lead changes, just a crazy game. A lot of great players on both teams, and just a high level game for sure.
Now, you know, you look like you done played a little bit of football yourself. Just gotta tell us a little bit about your basketball. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm been a dentist for 27 years now. Cutter's my 3rd kid. Got a daughter's 25, boy's 23, and moved here to Lexington, I guess, about 14, 15 months ago, and it's been really good. Cutter's all the way around. You know, academically, everything. It's been really good. So, been really happy here.
All right. So now, you know, he's the commit to UK. You know, he is by far probably one of the better players in this area. Just as a dad, how does that make you feel?
Oh, that's awesome. I'm proud of him for sure. It's a little different than my other kids in that he, up until a couple years ago, we didn't know what his sport was going to be. He kind of played everything, honestly, until about a year and a half ago. didn't play basketball for the first time this last year, and some of that is as big as I am. We didn't know how big he's going to be. You know, if he ended up 6'10", 6'11", then basketball might have been the way to go. But he always, from an early age, liked football better. I used to get him up for Little League basketball when he was 7 years old, and he would say, "Why are we doing this? I'm just going to play football anyway." He always knew football was his favorite. Even though we're more of a basketball family for sure, but he always, for whatever reason, liked football better. So it's played out okay.
All right. Well, Coach, I'm not going to take it easy on you. So how you feel about this week's games? We're going to get you to go through these little picks and see how you do. So
all right.
Up first, week 2, we've got GRC 0-1 traveling to 1-0 Belfry. How you feeling about that one?
Well, we played Belfry last year, and you know, they were down from normal last year, but I know they beat a Breathitt County team last week that everybody's really high on this year, so I'm going to go with Belfry in that one.
You sound like you're done your research. Okay. That's right. You know, one thing about Belfry, they got that chase and ace connection, quarterback and running back. They each averaging about 145 yards a game. Sam Clemens for GRC is pretty much all they have on offense. But yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. Don't too many people go to Pond Creek and get a win against Belfry. Up next, we got 0-1 Paul Lawrence Dunbar taking on 1-0 Mercer. That one is a nice little matchup. Dunbar, I thought, was going to be better this season. Starting off, I thought picked them to win last week. They didn't hold true for me. Ethan Teal had a good game. Nice another quarterback in our area. I'm feeling Mercer. What do you think?
That was kind of a tough one for me. I know Dunbar didn't have a good week last week, but you know, the team they played, Connor, I believe, they're a nice team. So just the size difference, I think, in the end may make a difference. I know Cutter's friends with Ethan Teal, so just because of that, I'm going to have to go with Dunbar.
Okay, I'm telling you, don't pick with your heart. Get you in trouble. All right, up next, this one is going to be an interesting one. We've got Simon Kenton, 6A Simon Kenton, one of the better teams up north, taking on 5A Woodford County. Andrew Nason talked to Coach Johnson. He got hurt last week. He's probably going to be 50-50 going into this game. Not sure if he's going to play or not. That makes a big difference. Freshman Lemmy Coombs, who we saw in middle school for LTMS, great young talent, but he's just a freshman. I'm going to let you go first. Who you feeling on this one?
I didn't know the running back was there. They could make a difference. But, yeah, Woodford, we scrimmaged Woodford, and, you know, neither team's doing their normal stuff, so scrimmages are hard to tell much, but I know they got a lot of talent on that side. Never seen Simon Kenton play, but I know, you know, again, Cutter's buddies with Abba Selm, the offensive lineman that's committed to UK. So, you know, they're tight. So I'm gonna go with Simon Kenton in a close one.
I'm gonna tell you what, though. I think that they really were disappointed in that game last year. That Simon Kenton got them to up in their undefeated season. I think the Yellow Jackets are mad. Let's go Yellow Jackets. All right, coming up next, we've got 1-0 Lean Camp taking on 0-1 Berea. Berea had a rough go at it opening up this season. You got any thoughts on that?
I think I have to go with Lynn Camp just for the fact that Berea had 33 total yards of offense the whole game last week. So that's rough right there. I have to go with Lynn Camp just because of that.
I'm riding with you on that one. Let's go Lynn Camp. All right, now this one, I don't know, man. I want to see what you feeling on this one. We got Henry Clay, 0-1. They lost a heartbreaker last week, taking on this Cooper team from up north. They're 1-0. Any thoughts on this one? Now, I will give you this. I don't know if you knew. Okay, Henry Clay, they had a good game. They were up. 2 late interceptions probably cost them the game. So Henry Clay vastly improved. Coach Gay's doing a great job down there. Let's see. What you
The only player I know real well from either team is that Cam O'Hare, the quarterback for Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I think he's a sophomore, but I think he had 315 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard a little bit about him. Supposed to be a nice quarterback. I know they beat Bardstown, a team that Cutter's old school. He's been playing forever.
Yeah.
Bardstown's always been in our old district we used to be in. So I'm gonna go with Cooper in that one.
All right, Cam O'Hare had 5 touchdowns last game too. All right, now this one here, I don't know. I'm going to see what you think. Anderson County 0-1 versus my East Jessamine Jaguars 0-1 as well. Now, East Jasmine, Coach said they were going to do something different. We've been talking to Coach Boley all last year. They were more spread open, more wide open. He used to like to run it. They were 12 passes and 13 runs, so it looks like he might be kind of getting back to his roots. Anderson County, I know they got a new coach this season starting over. They did have a nice running game from Nehemiah Wilson. He had 104 yards and a touchdown. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Jaguars. We're going to put the paws on them in the jungle. Let's go Jags, baby.
Yeah, Anderson lost big, but I know Rockcastle, Rockcastle's probably got a nice team. I think new coach and know their quarterback as well. But yeah, East Jessamine lost to Wayne. Wayne County's supposed to be pretty good this year. And it was a 7-point game maybe East Jessamine lost. Pretty tight game, so I think East Jessamine to win that one.
All right, now up next we got the Battle of the Birds. Scott County, my man, Coach McKee, like I say, he's real giddy this season right now. I think he's got a whip and he's not telling anybody. Taking on 0-1 Great Crossings. You got any thoughts on this?
I thought that was one of the tougher ones to pick, honestly. I had a hard time with that one. Where Great Crossing lost to Franklin County by 2, which is, that's a, you don't want to lose, but still a really quality loss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give Scott County the slight edge in that one.
Yeah, Scott County is going to make it 6 in a row against the Warhawks. Let's go Cardinals. Next up, we got 1-0 Henry County taking on 0-1 Lafayette. Now, Lafayette has won a game. This will be in their 12th try. Henry County, they're 1-0. Does Lafayette get off the schneid?
I don't think quite yet. Hopefully sometime this year, but I don't think it's going to be this week. Henry County.
Yeah, I tried to pick Lafayette last weekend. It didn't go well for me. So I'm going to go Henry County on this one, too. Up next, we got crosstown rival 0-1 Lexington Catholic taking on Madison Central 0-1. Now, Madison Central traveled to Johnson Central, tough place to go, lost a close game. Lexington Catholic lost a close game to Highlands. Bob Spires coming back home, big emotional game for them. This one's going to be tough. I'm going to give you a chance. I don't know. What you think?
It's another really close one, tough one to call. I think I'm going to give the edge to Madison Central just because both games were tight. Both teams looked like they played pretty well, but Madison Central played the better opponent. Everybody seems to be really high on Johnson Central this year. That was a tight game too. So just because they lost to a better opponent, I'll give the edge to Madison Central.
Ooh. I know Coach Bew probably going to pick Lexington Catholic.
I know Lexington Catholic's quarterback Watson had a big game. I think 200, around 240. Looked like he had a really good game.
I'm going to go with Lexington Catholic. Something's telling me to go with the Knights on this one. Let's go Knights. All right. Up next, we got 1-0 Taste Creek, who also helped us in the Lexington-Louisville Cup, as they got a win against the Louisville team last week, taking on 0-1 Madison Southern. And Madison Southern, they're going to be licking their wounds from what Scott County did to them. Taste Creek's flying high. Coach Hawks is really doing some big things at Taste Creek. Do you feel either way on this one? Who you feeling?
I didn't know a lot about either one of these teams. My old college roommate Darren Horn went to Taste Creek, so I'm going to go with Taste Creek.
Okay, that's a good pick. Taste Creek it is. I'm going to go with Taste Creek too. Up next, we got 0-1 Paintsville. Perennial power, been doing big things. Of course, since Coach Cherico left, it's been a little different as they get things in a different way. New culture there. Paris 1-0 under Coach Taquan Rice, who's doing big things with the Greyhounds. This could be a nice statement game for them after a big win over a down Frankfort team. Do you think the Greyhounds keep rolling, or are you going with the Paintsville Tigers?
Hard for me to judge that Paintsville game because they played Floyd Central, I believe, Indiana. So I don't know anything about the Indiana team, so kind of hard to gauge. I know Paris had a big win, had almost 300 yards rushing, so we'll go with Paris.
Yeah, I'm going to take Paris on this one too. Up next, we got 1-0 Bracken taking on 1-0 Sayre. This is an interesting game because these are two, would you say powers? 1-8 powers?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say.
Sayre's still new, but
they've been doing big things. Coach Chad Pennington doing big things with the Sayre team. Brock Kaufman had another big game. Looking for him to keep going. Who you feeling on this one?
The LCA played Sayre in the final 8 of that 80-some team EKU 7-on-7. I know 7-on-7s. I know you were there.
Yeah.
I know it's not real football, but boy, Sayre looked good in that. Nice receivers. Quarterback Pennington looked really good. great coach, obviously. So
some would say they ran out of gas. It was just a numbers game.
I've never seen their line before, but I thought they looked really nice in 7-on-7. So we'll go with Sayre.
Sayre, I'm gonna take Sayre too. That's a good pick. I'm not going Cutter's dad. And now, up next, we got 0-1 Bourbon County taking on 1-0 South Laurel. Bourbon County under new coach Berea doing some things. He's getting his culture in place. Not a good start last week. Do you look for him to get them on track, or just still?
I think it might take a little bit longer. I think South Laurel is going to still win that one.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. South Laurel. Let me get South Laurel on that one. All right, now
big one
for Friday. Last one, big game Friday. I want to see where you cover this. Frederick Douglass, 0-1. They went up to take on Archbishop Hoban from Ohio. I actually went and saw that game, so I saw firsthand with my eyes Douglass versus Hoban versus 1-0 Trinity, who, beat up on my co-hosts' defenders. You saw Bryan Station up close. Y'all had a scrimmage with Bryan Station, so you kind of know what kind of athletes and what they're dealing with. I mean, they beat them pretty convincingly. Is Trinity back?
Station had 7 turnovers. Is that right against Trinity? That means 7 turnovers is devastating.
Yeah.
Actually, Station's a big athletic team. I really like the way they look in person. So I was a little surprised by that score. Mm-hmm. Then I saw the 7 turnovers. Makes a little difference. Trinity, I know they were down for what they normally are last year. They were down, but still always, well coached, machine. But Douglas, I don't think you can judge them by that team they played in Ohio. That's a for real team. Yeah. Ohio, they might not be quite Florida, Texas, California. But that's a legit state right there at high school level.
This team, that just to give a little backstory on that, they have been to 7 of the last 9, and it's Division II in Ohio. That's basically equivalent to 5A, the second largest division here.
That's big.
So you got a monster there. Douglas moving up to 6A. This is kind of like their welcome to 6A game. Do they go into Trinity and get the win?
I believe so. I'd like to see Douglas go in there and get that one. Again, there's D'Amico, and there's several of those kids on Douglas that Cutter's tight with, and I'd like to see them go get that Lexington over Louisville win right there.
Okay, he's going with Douglas, and you know me, people. My A5 Broncos, we're finna put the state on notice. We're here in 6A. Let's go deal with it. Let's go Broncos. Gotcha. Come on. All right. Now, Saturday, we've got 3 games on Saturday. We've got Bryan Station 0-1 taking on Franklin County 1-0. This is actually the game before you guys played at is it the Boyle County Bowl? It's the Rebel Bowl. At the Rebel Bowl in Boyle County. How are you feeling about this one?
Is Franklin County's quarterback hurt? I think that was a question. Do we know if he's good to go? That makes a difference, possibly. I just really like the way Station looked up close. Again, it was a scrimmage when we played them. Hard to tell, but boy, they look like they look like a big 6A school up close. When you get down the field, I'm gonna go with Bryan Station in that one. Have a bounce back. Obviously, hopefully not have 7 turnovers again and pull out one against Franklin County.
I'm gonna agree with you. Let's go defenders. I think, like you said, I almost feel like. And I talked about this earlier as we got ready. I feel like it was Bryan Station's first real big game. Yeah. After they did everything they accomplished last season, and it was kind of like their first big game of handling the success.
Right.
And some teams, that's a learning experience, and I think it was maybe a little bit too much for them initially, and that's a learning experience for them. And I look for the defenders to get back on track and move ahead. Let's go defenders. But the game after that, we've got West Jessamine 1-0 taking on Ashland Blazer 1-0. They're traveling to Ashland Blazer. Do the West Jessamine Colts have a chance against this perennial power?
I think they have a chance. Like I said, Ashland's always good. I know they beat a team in a close one that we played last game of the year, actually. Raceland is supposed to be really good this year. So, I'm going to give Ashland a nod in that one. I know West Jessamine had 330 yards rushing between 2 guys, had over 150 each, something like that. So that looks strong, but I think Ashland maybe a little too much.
Yeah, West Jessamine, their strength is their line. They're returning most of their line from last year. Coach is really excited about them, and the athletes will kind of come in place. I'm like you. I think just traveling to Ashland is a tough place to play. Give me Tomcats in that one. Now for our game of the week, everybody. This is probably the biggest game in the state Saturday, outside of that Douglas Trinity game Friday. This is probably the next biggest game, if not bigger. Your LCA Eagles, led by Cutter Boley, fresh off a big upset over 5A Bowling Green, taking on Boyle County, three-time defending state champ. I think you guys and maybe Lexington Catholic may be the only teams that have beat them in Douglas. I mean, they haven't had too many losses in that stretch. How are you feeling? Do the Eagles and Coach Doug with his lucky rabbit foot keep going?
I had nothing but respect for Boyle County and what they've done there. I mean, what a great program. A lot of great athletes, Quisenberry, and a ton of guys. Quarterback, they've got actually a lot of potential D1 kids on that team.
Yeah.
A lot of talent on that team. Didn't get to see in the game before ours. They played before us against Gibson Southern last week on Western's Field. I know they handled that game easily. They looked really good. I obviously feel better about it after what happened last week. You move up in class with 3 classes last week, 2A to 5A, and you're not sure what to expect sometimes when you jump up like that. But couldn't be prouder of LCA's win last week. Obviously, the threat to run the ball this year with Brady Hensley, hopefully it makes a big difference for us. We were mostly one-dimensional last year. Everybody knew we were going to throw it just about every play. Now you kind of pick your poison. You're going to stop the run or the pass, and hopefully if somebody does stop one, we can do the other. So I'm definitely going with LCA, but it's a tough one. I almost feel like I wish we have a bye week between Bowling Green and Boyle County. That's a tough back-to-back, and it doesn't get a whole lot easier after this week either.
No,
4 number 1 teams in a row.
after that, right?
Painesville and the Christian Academy of Louisville and Lexington Catholic.
Yeah, so Coach Doug, I love him to death, but I'm like, Coach, man, just back off a little bit. Let us breathe.
I sent my dad the schedule about 6 months ago, and he asked me if the Packers and Cowboys weren't available. I didn't schedule them as well. Crazy schedule.
And Coach Doug, if he could find a way, he would get him on the schedule. Man, it's so hard for me to pick against LCA, but I do it every week, and I think it's almost, I'm doing it as motivation. Let's go, Boyle. I think it's just going to be you're at Boyle, and just, there's this much difference. But I'm going to give it, since they're playing at Boyle and all those athletes, I'm unfortunately probably going to have to go with Boyle. I'm sorry, Coach Doug. I said I would never pick against you, but I'm going to do it this week. Let's go, Boyle County. Okay, that wraps up this week's games. How you feeling about your picks?
I feel good. There's a few teams I didn't know a lot about. Had to look them up. A lot of teams just from Cutter playing so much 7-on-7 different things. There's a lot of kids on these teams I know. Had a few of them I didn't know much about, but no, there's some good games this week for sure. Yes. And I guess the possibility everybody plays on Saturday with the heat. Where they're talking. You may have a lot of Saturday night games this week.
You might be right. I know a lot of teams. I think the Trinity Douglas game, they moved out into 8. So, like you said, that's an interesting point. We wish y'all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Tell Cutter, even though I don't pick against him, it's not personal. It's nothing personal. I love what he do. And Coach Doug, I'm sorry, man, but we want to thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, man.
And we'll update the picks and see how he does against the greatest picker in high school football, your man, Coach Rabbit's Foot Truck. All right, well, appreciate you. Wish you the best of luck again. Thank you. And Cutter, keep doing big things. And we want everybody to meet. This is not Cutter's day. This is Scott Boley. Thank you.
Y'all do a great job. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, that was great picking with Scott Boley, Cutter Boley's dad. Want to appreciate him for coming on and picking with us. He had some great picks, man. I don't know. That one's going to be interesting to see how he comes out at the end of the week. All right, now here are Coach Buell's picks for this week. All right, man. I think that's it. That wraps it up. Shout out to our friends, the Mark and Wheel Show for the Mark and Wheel Cup. We got a game this week as we'll have Trinity and Douglas. So we will no longer be tied at 1-1 at the end of this week. Tune in to see how that goes. As always, we want to ask you to be a living donor. For my man, Coach Buell, this is Coach Truck. Big Things Kentucky. Peace.